But just continue the word.
No, I was sharing with Tom because we just moved to a different
House.
to a new house to our house.
Yeah, I think you told me also, no, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you moved 20.
So
Six
we
months ago.
6 months.
July.
When did we move? End of July. So August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. It's going to be the 8th month. It's see, imagine how time flies.
Yeah.
So we just moved there 8 months ago. And then of course that's when I started my walking meditation.
You were not doing walking meditation first.
I cannot walk in our old neighborhood because it's so like in Southwestern.
Ghetto.
Seriously, like you cannot meditate with like all the students passing and it's close to all the jeeps. So where we move, it's actually a good kind of a good neighborhood because there are some streets that are quiet.
Which neighborhood is it?
It's
Near IT
it's
Park.
near IT Park, the back of IT Park here.
Yeah, Napas.
So it's a new environment for us. So actually, I started my walking, not yet the walking meditation, walking because of my back problem after giving birth. So, diba I told you like me and Tom, we underwent rehab. So we went to the hospital.
Both of you?
We were so desperate because I don't know what happened. Like maybe because it was a first time parent. You know, like we don't have sleep. We never get to
This
sleep.
happened when we were raising Metsi on our own.
Yeah. Okay. So this happened. We don't have yaya. It's just me and Tao running a business and raising a.
No, when you were trying
An-
to
an
raise Maximus on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had all these back problems.
I get it.
So it was really terrible. Like to the point that even Pam, I witnessed him in tears. Him in tears.
At that point that, okay, I cannot more.
My lower back suddenly snapped, and I carried.
No, so it was that bad. So when we moved, so that's why like I've been reading on the books that were telling me like motion is cure or movement.
Yes.
So that's when I started my walking around the neighborhood. But our topic is actually about presence and of being observant. So I was telling Tom, I said, Tom, we were just 8 months, or just 8 months in this neighborhood, but I know a lot of things already simply by observing. So, di ba, every day, imagine 8 months, you calculate 8 months times 30 days. That's 240?
Yeah.
8 times
There's 240?
240 days of walking around the same neighborhood every morning for 30 minutes. So, when I walk, I'm like, oh, I see this woman, and I say, hi, good morning, but I don't know where she lives. Then the next day, I see a child walking. I'm like, oh, I meet this new person. And the next day, I meet again another person. And then I told myself, I don't want to be like my old self, like saying, being Marites ba, like, oy, where do you live? I'm from here. So I did not do that. So I was being more, just being present. And
Intentional, no? And
Yes.
That's being an observer, not trying to.
so that's the point
to
of
know
what I
about
say.
their lives. Like
So
just-
without trying to inquire like, hey, where do you live? Which house do you stay here? Because whenever I walk, people ask me, "Oy, where do you live? You're new here." So me, I never ask them.
They're
How about
Filipino.
you? So I don't do that.
They're really like, they ask right away.
Yeah. So actually, Gonzalo, I used to be like that.
Yeah,
So this time I am more of like playing the observer. So I was just observing. Fast forward 8 months, I already know the story of all the neighbors without inquiring. Really?
I didn't need
it
to
just it just came to you.
I'll tell you one story. So there was this neighbor.
This goes to YouTube also. The story of this.
So there's this neighbor, but he's old already, and then every morning he's always like sweeping the grounds, like of all his other neighbors. So it's very
in the street, like in the front of the.
like that's so.
I think that's his form of exercise.
Yeah, so I greet him like good morning, even if I don't know him. I never ask the name, but I say good morning like that. Then he say, oh, good morning. So it's a simple exchange of good mornings, and that alone is right. It feels good, right?
Yes.
So after 6 months, because it happened in January, we have a client who's based in the U.S. And the client was like, Mika, I'm coming home. We have to meet. So I'm like, okay, let's meet. And then when we met, we saw the old man. I'm like, "Uy, that's our neighbor." I'm like, what is he doing here? So apparently, he is the father of my client. Can you imagine?
Really?
So he did not recognize me yet.
And you are the good morning girl that he was seeing every day.
So in the meeting, and I'm like, sir, I'm the one who greets you good morning. He's like, oh yeah, that's you.
That's why you look familiar.
Oh, it was so
Can
nice.
you imagine, like, we never knew that the person I was greeting all along for 6 months is the father of my client.
And that family is our relative in my side.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Turns out.
Oh, see? And so because we
The things that happen here in the Philippines.
so
no?
because it was
Everyone is related.
so when we started to talk about that neighborhood, he started telling us, oh, the person who greets you good morning, she is this, she owns this business, and that guy, he
Now
owns
you
this
just
business.
created.
So now I know everything, but see, I did not do anything.
It just came to you.
So
You were just
so the moral of this, the lesson of this story is, you do not need to make an effort to find out about things, or you don't need to inquire. You just simply need to be. You just simply need to observe, and the truth will come out.
you will see it. If you observe, you have your eyes open, right?
Ay, you'll go na.
Drive safely.
Our driver guys. Okay.
Bye.
Take care, shit.
So the moral ba, the lesson is, you don't need to make an effort to find out, because you will know everything by simply observing. That's it.
I like that.
Sorry, ma.
Nice story.
Diba?
Yes.
I was sharing that with Tom because it is amazing about. Like, you don't have to do anything.
True.
You don't need to make an effort.
But that kind of information that you just also gather is it's like an intel, you know? It's like pure.
and then
It's not even like a-
You say like be present, and then all of a sudden somehow you
And
will
then-
flow
and then-
and be in the
And
place.
then here is the most, for me, this is like the most important part of the story. So, on another neighbor, which is the house next to that old guy.
Yeah.
So there's this guy, every day dulce. He is always in the same, there's this like, a tire. Ligid ba?
Yeah.
Tire from a car. It's a wheel. It's sitting in his gate. So every morning he's sitting in the tire smoking. Every day 6 a.m. smoking. How many I don't know, sticks. So every morning I'm like, oh my god, this guy is smoking at 6 a.m. But what I do is I greet him with a smile, good morning, and then he will also respond. Then among all the people in the neighborhood, he is the most responsive. Some of the neighbors, like, it depends on the mood.
Yeah.
Maybe when you say good morning, somebody will not greet you back.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad. Because in my mind, maybe that guy is having a bad day. But this specific guy, every morning, he is even the first to say good morning to me. But he's always sitting on the same spot every day, doing the same thing.
On the same wheel.
So you know what I found out from the old man? I asked man, like, oh, also that guy who sits there every morning? Yeah, that guy. Actually, his story is, he's a depressed person who was, di ba, divorced?
Yeah.
Divorced in Canada, and who went back to the Philippines because his wife left him.
Good.
Yeah.
But it's Filipino.
He's Filipino, but what I'm saying is I did not even know he's a depressed person, but I feel good because me being a stranger, greeting him good morning, I'm sure I made his day. Simply by
And even sometimes he greets you
Yes.
first. That already.
And you know what's the most amazing part? After 6 months of, jogging and walking, that depressed guy, which I only found out 6 months later is depressed, he started jogging with me.
Oh, really?
Wow.
It was amazing without even me telling him like, hey, join me for a jog. He just got up and started walking.
That's nice.
But I feel good because for me, I made a difference in the life of that depressed person. For him to get up on his feet,
you never
And
know.
stop
no?
smoking.
You
well,
never
he did
know
not stop
how-
smoking.
I mean, at least in that moment,
Little gestures.
and use that.
Little things. Something that doesn't cost too much effort as a good morning every day when you tell that person. It may feel like so good. And that little change the way of approaching the day, of approaching things.
So see, in my morning walk, I learned so many things. And there's even this guy, he's Chinese. He never smiles at me for 6 months, but somehow, I don't know, Gonzalo, if you believe in
But at least
energy.
you're gonna smile.
That's gonna be my goal.
You know
I was
what?
gonna
I
smile
did,
back.
I did really goal, but one morning, like I said, why this guy is so aloof? He never smiles, but I don't take it against him. Maybe he's not used. Maybe he's not friendly. I mean, he's not social. So
You never know
I
how
don't
people
care
is
if
being raised.
he will
how
not.
in the
Yeah.
life.
So one morning, I was just looking at him in the eye, and I was like, one day maybe this guy will talk to me. And you know what happened? The next day, he really talked to me.
It's so very surprising, but people that you never thought that they would end up speaking to you, they speak to you.
No, that's the thing. Like, it's just amazing.
If you approach with
With kindness, nothing.
kindness, exactly.
You're not
It-
expecting
it's-
anything,
It's,
no?
it's really energy. If you believe in it, it's really.
So now, this guy who doesn't greet me, now greets me already.
Nice.
You were thinking like that
And it keeps
always.
you going also.
Were you thinking like that always since the beginning when you were in your 9 to 5 doing
No,
your things,
no.
something like that?
The only time I became like this is especially after I gave birth. It was sort of like for me an awakening. Because I went through a lot of things. I went even through depression.
Also,
Yeah.
No, ask Tom. Tom is my witness. Because there are nights I will...
I don't need you to confirm me. I believe you. If he is in front, if he says like, no, that's a lot. He will stop you.
That's why I'm also very curious about depressed people. Because when I went through it, I'll tell you one thing. There was a moment, or not only one moment, a couple of times, like I feel like something is controlling me. Not really controlling, but it's like something is going on in my brain. It's like I feel like there's some chemical imbalance because it
It is like that, right?
it's like, you are aware. Like, I'm aware. I'm not crazy. But something is really bothering you to the point I tell Tom, like, Tom, please don't judge me. like now, when the sun is setting, I'm scared.
Like someone is speaking to you.
Yeah.
Like,
I underwent that.
But you were very conscious about it. Like, I know it's not me. I know it's something
yes.
that is going
It's
on.
like you are conscious, but at the same time, you are not in full control. Or it's like you're not in full control, but at the same time, you know that you are above your mind. Like that. It's very hard to explain. Maybe only a depressed person can understand.
But the thing is that happened to you when you were like,
After I gave birth.
but you gave birth already. Fox comes and you already
Morning dong.
Morning,
like
guys.
what are the order, the timeline? Like you were working your 9 to 5, and you're actually, as you told me, pretty bad, like almost until the point to get a stroke or something.
No, because it was also decades of burnout. But of course, I was too young to realize that will be the effect on my body. So, when you're young,
How are you?
hello, I started working at 21. So imagine all throughout my 20s and 30s, like hustle hard, like every day grinding. So it's like, of course, at a young age, your body is still, how do you call that? It's still strong. So you wouldn't really,
Handle a lot.
so you can, like all those,
You don't realize
you
it.
don't realize it. Only now. So
You can even become habit. No, you can actually know and feel like that's the way I feel, that's the way I work. It's fine.
This
it's
is
not-
the way I am.
And here's the-
even though it hurts.
here's the thing, like when I met Mika,
oh yeah,
she was still in Manila.
Yeah.
It was her last job. When we and then fast forward to how many years of being together, I always tell her, like, when you were in Manila and you were living there and you were so stressed with work, how come you were so consistent with going to the gym every day before going to work? Like every day, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., she wakes up, she goes to the gym, and then we got together, and then we ended up going to the gym together when I visited her in Manila. And then all of a sudden, pandemic hit, and she was left. We were left in the house, and
Like,
all this lifestyle change
Change.
suddenly came to her. Like, oh yeah, God, I have nothing to do, so now I'm going to binge. Like, I'm going to go Netflix.
I was on
and
the TV
I'm
24
going
hours.
to eat all
So
the
you
junk
see,
food.
To shut down your thoughts, no, and your emotions that you were
No,
like.
that's the thing because during my 20s, everything was about hustle. And like, when you're young, your goal is to be rich, to be successful. Our goal is never to be healthy. You will never know health until you get sick.
Yes.
That's what's the thing I learned.
Right, that's true. It's never become your
never-
priority until you get
Now,
Until you lack of it.
Gonzalo, if you ask me now, what's my priority? To be healthy. Yeah. Because
the,
you
the
cannot.
rest comes with it, or what?
Yeah, because you cannot earn money if you're sick. And do you want to live the rest of your life having pain left
in
and right?
bed or
Well,
I
that's
heard
the
that.
thing.
I heard that from Gary.
Yeah.
From, yeah, exactly. Like, I don't. How is the surname?
Gary V.
Gary
Yeah,
V. For Gary V. No, like
that's
he's like you are the most valuable asset,
Asset.
of your business and everything.
No, that-
like better take care of yourself
That's the thing.
because
when
without
you're-
you, nothing is gonna happen.
That's the thing. When you're in your 20s, you will not realize that
Yeah.
everything is always about achieving wealth.
yeah.
Plus. And
It's
and-
never
and
about-
the thing is, like, even if for years she was working in a corporate life 9 to 5, but because she was consistently going to the gym, somehow it made her survive the
Yeah.
stress of every day.
Yeah.
And then here comes the pandemic.
Since you got a stronger and
Wait, honestly, like everybody was telling me during pandemic, I'm so depressed, I'm so anxious. I'm like, I cannot relate because my feelings, I'm so free. Like, nobody's calling me, nobody's asking me for a report, or nobody's.
actually that was the bad part.
So actually, I took it as a break from my 22 decades or 20 years of working hard. So for me, the pandemic was like my break.
Yeah.
But I overused my break. I was on Netflix 24 hours a day. I was eating junk food. I was eating canned goods.
And then imagine, just 3 months,
Yeah.
straight 3 months. All of a sudden, on the third month, she felt,
I will
constant
tell this
headaches.
story. I will tell this story
Here.
because this is one I will never forget. This is also my turning point. So one evening,
Because in the pandemic, you're still with the corporate.
no more.
No more, no more.
We were already starting murals and TDG.
But hustling so hard, not resting
Yeah.
enough.
So, actually, it was not 3 months after pandemic time. This was sometime 2022. So, it was 2 years after the junk food, the unhealthy habits, sedentary lifestyle. So, because we don't go out right during pandemic, so Tam and I are used to our date is, and we were just newly married. So we never had a honeymoon. So our date is we choose a Netflix movie and then we order like sushi and then we do wine. So one evening he said, "Oh, let's watch this terrorist attack in sa to hotel, the one in India ba, Mumbai." So I'm like, "Okay, I like that. I like terrorist stuff." So when we were watching Gonzalo, can you imagine like in the middle of the people were killing each other. All of a sudden, I felt a numbness in my arm and then my back ba, like my hair ba. There was like a sharp pain that shot up to my head, and all of a sudden I'm like, Tom, I cannot breathe, and then all of a sudden, I think it was also a panic. So my face was hard and it was like,
Almost a little stroke.
That's a nervous.
maybe,
no? Like-
maybe. So my face was like it cannot move. And I was like in a panic. So, di ba you got my BP? I was looking for my BP, but I cannot anymore find my apparatus. So I was like, I knew that I was already, like, I don't know, it was a mixed emotion of like, I already had thoughts like, what if I die today? So I told Tom, you need to bring me to the nearest hospital. And I was like that, going down the stairs.
So it's scary for you also, no? Like all of a sudden have her like
Yeah, and then when I was in the car, because I started reading Joe Dispenza, so in the middle of it all, I was like doing my deep breathing, and while
Trying to
trying to
relax.
battle
Yeah.
the what I was going through, I was like my mind was still on top of things. Like I can do this, I can survive, I will not die. So it was like my body fighting with my mind. My mind was like, Mika, you can do it, Mika, you can do it, and the body was like and palpitating. So
Yeah.
can you imagine like that exact
I
feeling?
cannot imagine.
I know you cannot imagine that. I don't want to have that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like my body is giving up and my mind is saying, no, 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 no. You need to sit still and breathe in,
But
out.
what was at the end? Did they tell you?
At the end, we were in the emergency room and the emergency room was full.
Yeah.
So I was just continuing my breathing and eventually I got inside the emergency room. And then I just did my meditations in the emergency room. Then I think my BP was like 200 over, I forgot. So crazy. It was really high. The end point was then I started seeking help from a cardiologist. Then I started taking my medications, but from that time on I turned my life
She was
360 degrees.
diagnosed with first stage
No,
high blood pressure,
yeah, something like
like
stage 2.
entry stage.
Like that was because of high blood pressure.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then it was only, I mean, that thing happened, but for me, I think it's a result of years or decades of the unhealthy
Bad
habits,
decisions,
bad decisions.
Choices that you've made.
But
And it's a good thing that my body broke down then. Because if it never happened, I could probably be dead now.
Or be doing the same thing.
And
She
die
was already experiencing like
A lot
very
of
bad
migraines.
migraines. Like
Yeah.
Every
she would end
So
up
the
throwing
your
up.
body was like always giving you
Yeah,
signals and
so-
you didn't pay
So
attention.
actually, Gonzalo, during my 20s, I remember this clearly. I would have migraines at least once a week. I got used to taking meds. So actually, if I look back, those were messages from my body saying, "Hey, your body is trying to cope with the stress." But I did not listen to my body. So that thing happened because of
Yeah.
many years of not listening to my body.
But it's interesting because what I thought it was that actually your corporate work and your 9 to 5 was the one that was actually kind of hurting you, you know, like the way of life that you were having. But even though you quit it for something that was more of your own, that it was focus homes and really
Yeah.
starting to acquire some properties to manage
Yeah.
for the people in Airbnb, things like that, you were still managing your work and your things in a bad way so much that it was
Yeah.
hurting.
Yeah, so what I'm
So the solution was not actually to have your own business. It
Yeah.
helped
Yes.
somehow, but
no. Having your own business or doing your own thing is completely different from being conscious about your like everything you
The
do.
well-being.
So I'm not saying like you need to quit your 9 to 5 to be healthy. No, you could actually do good in the corporate life, but being mindful. You know what I mean? So let's say, what's corporate life like? Oh, your boss will say, oh, these are all your tasks, blah, blah, blah. So you could actually, there are things that you can do to, maybe you can talk to your boss, oh, this is too much. I mean, these are things that,
Yeah.
I'm not saying to quit is the solution.
Is the answer.
Like, okay, let's say I'm still in my corporate
yeah,
life.
probably the problem is somewhere else. It's not about,
It's not about
working
quitting.
for a
It's-
company. It's
Yeah.
how you are working, no? How
That's
you
what,
are
that's
dealing
what
with
I
it.
was saying. Like, if I rewind, if I look back and transport myself back to 20 years ago, was it 20 years? Almost 20 years ago. I wouldn't say the solution is to quit. I quit for a completely different reason. I didn't quit because my body was breaking down. I quit because I knew I had something more. And I knew like that that job wasn't for me.
It was limiting.
You know why? Because I try to assess like what makes me happy when I wake up. So when I look at my journals and like what makes me happy, it's really traveling, it's meeting new people, it's like doing new experience, having new experiences. So that's what made me really leave my job. It was really like to start the life that will make me want to wake up every day doing this thing forever.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I hated. I loved what I was doing. I mean, I was even good at what I was doing.
They say that, but obviously it makes sense all the time as long as you have a purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a corporate life, but if you have a purpose of your own, or you can have your own business, and you can be unpurposeful with a business of your own. I think it's like you have to have a purpose. What would you say is the purpose that you have right now with Fox Homes and everything that you are doing?
So, like I said, I asked myself, what is it that I enjoy? Like me, being Mika, what do I enjoy? I enjoy going to new places. I enjoy meeting new people. I enjoy working with new people. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. So by doing this business of opening new Airbnbs, that means new places, new experiences, and I can share it with people like you. Like this. This is one of the experiences.
Yeah.
Right.
So working like this,
Yeah.
working in a way that it feels so.
It's like living. It's not really working. It's like this is life.
This is your day to day.
It's
That's nice. Not separating life and work, but it's actually the same. It's just
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's the
right?
thing. Like
You make work part of your life.
work is not separate from life. Work is
Yes.
your life.
Yeah,
So-
integration.
that's why I never say work-life balance. Because even when I'm at work or doing my life thing, my personal thing, I'm always in balance. So it's work-life integration. You integrate it, meaning like this is work actually. Like having you here, we're doing a marketing activity, right? Like we're filming stuff for
Yeah.
Peakway. But do you feel like we're working? Let me ask you. That's exactly the point. It should not feel like work. It should feel very effortless. Let me ask Clyde. Clyde, come here.
Clyde, how do you feel you're working?
This is Clyde, our... Ay, ato na, Hans.
You would be like thinking like, why are you introducing me if I know them already?
No. Clyde is the photographer at home. So official photographer. So
with
all
Jack
the Jack also.
Yeah.
You want Jack on the film too?
I don't know. Do you want to be in the film?
Come here. No. Our topic.
What movie?
No, because our topic here is work should not feel like work. So I wanna ask these guys because they're working with us.
No, they put you in the spotlight.
Do you guys?
It's too early.
Do you guys feel like it's work?
No.
See?
It's very easy when your client is actually asking you, hey, are you enjoying? Yes, I'm enjoying. This is fun.
But honestly, diba? Do you feel like it's work?
Most of the time.
I saw you that you were having, but obviously it's difficult to say that, no? Because it's not like always going to be fun. It's not always going to be effortless. It's not going to obviously always be just so easy. No, there's gonna be always moments that, fuck, now I don't want to work, but I have to. No, I have to put the effort. I have to put some.
You have to
But
show up,
if
yeah.
most of the time, at least, is really something that you are enjoying, it's gonna feel at least a bit effortless. No, you cannot expect that it's gonna be always.
I know he enjoys it because he's the one always asking me, do we have a shoot? Do we have a shoot? When? Yeah, but anyway.
Can we go to the mountain?
But here's the thing, like if these guys until now
Yeah.
don't have a purpose for what they're doing,
Yes.
they may appear enjoying it,
Yeah,
but deep inside they don't have
don't-
it. They don't want it,
They wouldn't be enjoying it.
right?
Are you happy deep inside? Like deep inside? Oh, it's happiness there?
Right. So that's
Okay,
the
don't worry. Have breakfast. Thank you so much for your.
That's the thing. Like that's the thing that's keeping these young generations from making the difference. Like because the self-help books and the self-help contents are telling everyone to say quit your 9 to 5. You cannot be rich
Yes.
from working for somebody else.
Exactly. They're putting the purpose on being rich, and it's like no, being rich should have like an actual purpose
Yeah.
that you want to do with all that wealth. You know, like it cannot be just being rich.
Being rich.
Yes.
That's the purpose.
Rich.
Doesn't make sense.
They're putting a context on being rich in terms of money. but they're not putting it on a value of freedom and having your own time and peace, and
'Cause
these are
that's-
the actual
that's real
riches of life.
Yeah, that's
This is the actual wealth.
And how do you reach that? That is the thing. Like if we could even get like an actual advice, an actual actionable advice for anyone that could watch this and say like, oh fuck, I mean, I would love to have the same thing that they are having, like really enjoying, like, but this they're saying you could actually do it in the corporate life. You don't have to have your own business for that. Like, then what would be the extra advice here
Starting
for
point.
anyone? You know, like
to guide.
how can I actually get rich in life, not in only in money, but in life with whatever I'm doing or with whatever I want to pursue.
Sige, take care.
See you in the waka.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think it's going back to purpose.
Yeah,
Like,
finding your purpose.
You know, it
Like,
doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen
Yeah.
overnight, Gonzalo. It's
Ed.
yeah, but first you need to find like why am I here?
Why I exist.
Why do I exist?
no, here's the thing. For me, in this generation, there has been a lot in this generation compared to the past generation has had more opportunities than ever before.
Yeah.
And now, if you have if you already found your purpose at such a young age, then you can have the freedom to choose whatever you want, because there's a lot of opportunities compared to before.
So
When I was in my 20s, I was just
Yeah.
the choice was only to work for a corporate life. There's no other way.
Yeah. There's
True.
no internet. I mean,
You cannot do business when I was in my 20s at 1990 something or 2000.
what you're saying is something like so true, because people don't see that they are not see the abundance way of approaching this. Like they think like, no, now people have it harder. Now people life is harder. You have less.
it's okay. That will work.
And that's very sad that what you said is true. Like there's more opportunities than
Yes.
ever, and it's easier for anyone to actually achieve more than what it was before. The thing is that I think people live more distracted, and they are not focusing on
Yeah.
finding a
That's
purpose.
Not at all. They have too many
That's the thing.
Too many distractions.
not only that, they're too focused on the outcome. I want to be rich.
And that's the
Now,
Yeah.
I want to be rich now.
Wow. Yeah.
There's no delay gratification.
They confuse the outcome with the journey.
The journey
Like
is
they think the getting rich is the actual outcome, but no, that's part of the journey. The outcome is something else, you know, like
And it's contributed largely to this all scanning,
Yeah,
doom scrolling,
yeah,
all the things that you've been feeding
they're being distracted.
on social media, you
Being
know.
distracted
Now,
constantly.
neuroscience is a different topic, huh? Because that's already neuroscience.
Oh, yeah?
What all this scrolling you said.
Why is happening?
So we saved that for a different vlog.
But did you listen to the TOC podcast, the Deep Dive on the CEO?
Well, not yet.
It is wonderful. He brought this psychiatrist that is actually Indian and Doctor Go. Well, it's amazing psychiatrist, and he was actually talking about this, and that is that we are what happened in life is that in your day. In your day, some things are happening, right? Like you are having things, experiences, and there's a lot of emotions there. And when you sleep, you are kind of processing those emotions. The thing is that we are not letting our emotions to be processed because we are constantly trying to be entertained. And that creates some anxiety that we keep trying to entertain ourselves, that we are trying
And
to
you're all-
escape.
and
And,
you're-
then you are avoiding to process a lot of things that you need to process
And
to
you-
actually advance.
And do you know that unprocessed emotions, when they get stuck in the body, it becomes a disease.
Exactly.
I read that somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah. Where do you keep them? Where do you hold them?
In your fascia.
Your fascia.
That's why you have body
That's
pain.
one of the places, no? There's other people that keep it in some organs, and then they become sick on that, and that is like how he was putting it is like there's people that is not advancing because they are not able to process some emotions that you need to process, that you need to get mad at it. Like for example, you don't like your life because of the job that you are in. That is easier for you right now to scroll on Instagram and kind of mute that emotion than actually face it and say like, but I need to do something about it. I'm not happy and really struggling. No, it's better to just check Instagram and,
And
then
make
avoid it. But
excuses.
you are never going to avoid that. That emotion is still there. That problem is still
And
there.
then it piles up, and then you become very depressed about your situation, and then you will always try to find something else to blame. You know, like no, because because of this, I cannot do this because of this,
So much
because
distraction.
everyone else
There
is
so
doing the
much
same
distraction.
thing, and it all boils down to awareness, right? There's like, wake up. I need to wake
But
up.
the thing is, awareness, you cannot force it to come. It comes
Yeah.
up on its when the student when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So it's like you don't say, oh, I want to be aware this year. It will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if I think about it, I don't know at which point I started to kind of go little by little to start reading
Yeah.
these kind of
So-
books and to be interested
That's why-
in this. I don't know when it
When
started.
it
What
felt
was
good.
the first step, you know?
But that's the thing. It's unique to each person. It
Yeah.
happens at a certain point in life. It could be, I think, it could also be because of like, like maybe it could be a turning point, like loss, a breakup, a divorce,
Just-
a disease.
Part of the journey.
Everybody goes
That's
through
what
different.
turn things around.
So
But it should be like a natural kind of
Yeah, it's
place
natu-
that you want to go, no? Like if we wouldn't be distracted by anything, what would you do? It's impossible to not be introspective, no? And start trying to start thinking about yourself and like, what am I doing? And what am I gonna do? And what is
Having
this life? No,
solitude
like
also.
if you wouldn't be distracted with other things, like it's impossible not to actually go and
That's
start
why-
thinking about.
that's
What are we
why
doing?
that's why it's for me it's so important to spend time in meditation or
Yeah.
not necessarily meditation but be a quiet time because it's when you introspect, it's when you examine yourself.
And even just to spend your time with choosing the right people
Yeah,
you spend
surround with
the time with.
I think that's also important.
Because for me, like having all this turning point could also like you don't have to wait for something to happen to you for you to turn your life around,
Yeah.
but just by surrounding yourself with this kind of people and learning from them
Yes.
and telling yourself, hey, I don't need to wait for myself to experience this downfall or this pitfall in my life to learn from this.
Sometimes you need catharsis, and sometimes you don't need catharsis. Yeah, you don't need to actually get to the point of and then break down.
Yeah.
Because that's what they say. No, that sometimes people need to face those emotions to actually have a breakdown to actually be able to then move on,
Yeah.
make a different decision, make something. And people is not facing the breakdowns. They are trying to just numb themselves with social media, with whatever,
That's the
to not think about themselves, not think about actually the, and that's the problem. Not people kind of, they don't know why they feel angry, but then they see, for example, what we were talking about, the Duterte thing on Facebook, and they post and they comment and they throw all that anger out there, and it's like, hey, that's not why you are angry. That's something else. You should try to see why are you so angry, because it's not about this. It's about something that you might not be dealing with right now. It's escaping there, no?
This is the best moment
Yeah.
to.
You think? Do you know?
Take out.
Exactly.
I mean, I see even with my dog, I get very mad with Churro when we are going on the street and then all of a sudden he's pulling me or whatever. And it's like, but it's not different than other days. Why am I getting so much mad today? Because I'm feeling bad about other things, anxious about our projects, our work, our whatever. Like, it's not related to him. It's something that is going
It's
on.
really all about you.
Yeah, it's always. No one has the capacity, the power of getting you mad or hurt you or offend you is
It's just you.
only in you.
I wish people knew that. Yeah.
As you said,
Everybody will wake up.
people start with their own step and to really see these kind of things when they can and they want and they have to.
And if
Come
you
with another.
if you really dig deep, like
And you're being honest of yourself
yeah,
also,
and
right?
then
Like you're not
you acknowledge what your past is. Like for sure,
and accept it.
everyone has their own story to tell. You know, like you just you don't have to experience or wait for this to experience it in a really actual sense. But right now, like if you're trying to think of everything that's happened, somehow you will dig a traumatic experience that would transform you to who you are right now,
Exactly.
and or something that you haven't addressed in the past
Yeah, that's
that you need to address it now to make you become a better person.
totally.
Right.
Like you are the result of some experiences, and if there's some things that you don't know what you're doing or you're feeling or you are like they reacting to, might be an experience that shaped you that way, you know. And if you don't introspect, if you don't meditate, if you don't really reflect on yourself, you're never going to be able to know why am I doing what I'm doing, why I am the way I am, you know. And if in case the way you are is something that you don't want, that it can happen.
At least you're aware and you catch yourself.
You start with that, not to catch those things and say like, hey,
Oh.
these reactions that I had, I didn't like.
Yeah.
Oh, this way I spoke to my wife, I didn't like.
Actually, I am in that phase now. Me ba, personally, I am in that phase that I'm able already to catch.
to stop like that.
Like, oops, that was a wrong reaction. So at least you're aware.
That's the first step, that's for sure. And even with that, you have done enough work during your whole life to really start
Yeah.
spotting things and try to change it little by little.
Yeah.
That's something that I told many times to say like, I think my purpose, and I think it's a life purpose that anyone could actually get, is like, I'm going to try to get as closer as the best version of myself that I can. And that is a life work that you can do until the day of the day. Because it's like, you're probably never going to reach it. But just by working and trying to do it, you have a lot of work and a lot of the things to do during your whole life. Don't worry. You're never going to get bored. You're never going to get bored.
work to do with
You're never gonna get bored, like exactly. You're not gonna be thinking of other people criticizing or whatever. No, because you have a lot of work, a lifetime work, just by thinking and doing work on improving yourself. Will you get it to your best version?
Yes, exactly.
It's forever. It's forever, and it's beautiful because it's like it's so
I can
nice.
still get better
Now I can
than
just
this,
focus
you know,
on
like-
trying to be the best version A for me and for the rest, because I want my wife to be happy with me. I want my family to be happy with me. I want anyone that is surrounded with me feeling good with me and be able to help them. How can I get that?
Yeah.
I think being the best version of myself, that's the only way.
Than yesterday.
Exactly. So it's a lifetime.
lifelong journey.
Yeah, I'm on journey.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was interviewing myself or you. But it's nice to get to those conclusions also, right? Anyways, we can close this whenever. Let's just keep it rolling. It doesn't have a poor memory.
But I have a question for you guys. I mean, how do you see Box Home? Because what you are doing now is integrated to your work and your life, right? But how do you see, I guess, see this come into ease and fruition? You know, like, because you're living it already. But in the next following years, do you still are aiming to get to somewhere? And what is
Do you
that?
do you mind repeating the question, because I spoke too close to the phone and I want to catch that actual question.
I was like asking them because now they are obviously you've worked so much, no, for each others to kind of like integrate work and life and
Actually, we didn't work so much, Jose. We just live our life.
live a life. Yeah. But I am very curious to learn.
If people listen to this, they say like,
Yeah, do you still ever kind of see yourself where I mean, there's always like that 5 year thing, right? Like where are we going with this?
5 years.
Now that we are probably not even 5 years in the next year, or if it's something that is quite clear, like I would want to be able to do this with Fox Home because I it's something like
me-
that.
Are you asking me or are you asking that? Because
Where is your goal? Where is your goal? Like, what would do you see? Like doing the right decision will take you
Yes.
in the coming
okay,
1 year, 2 years.
can I
5
answer
years?
first?
Yes.
This is a very honest answer.
Yes.
Actually, if I wore my corporate hat, I already have the answer. I want to have 100 accounts. I want to be in Japan, Thailand.
Yeah.
But if you ask Mika now, I don't have a plan. I just let life flow. I do what I do. I do what I love, which is what I already am doing now.
Yeah.
Every day, and I let life unfold. Opportunities come, accept. Some projects have to go, let go. Accept, let go, just do life. And 5 years from now, we will talk again. And I will answer that question 5 years from now.